Welcome to Money Adventures with TKay, a podcast for the ordinary young African who is determined to get their personal finances right. Willing to have a better relationship with your money? Well, this podcast is for you.
Hello everybody, welcome back to episode 6 of Money Adventures. Wow, it's been a while since we did the last recording, and as spontaneous as I like to be, I found a very young, hardworking student from the National University of Lesotho, NUL, and he was out here doing, well, what I call grinding. Well, it only took him 5 minutes to do the grind, 5 seconds to do the grind. And I took this opportunity to say, you know what, he's already here, let's do a podcast. Good afternoon, sir, and welcome to Money Adventures. So what I normally do on this platform, inspired by Lebo Lion, I allow my guests to introduce themselves. So who are you? Tell us a bit about who you are.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm happy to be here. That's the first thing. Didn't happen. I didn't even think it was going to happen. But here we are. And my name is Thapelo Morena Rapitse. I'm from Mafting. It's just, people call us Digwata, but that's where I come from, and I'm very happy to be from there. I'm a student at the National University of Lesotho, like you've said, and I'd like to think of myself as a simple-minded person who just is inspired to work harder, move from where we were to somewhere better, hopefully, you know.
You know what's interesting? I always believe, in fact, not always believe, I believe that Batwa Mafeting are brilliant. I'm also from Mafeting, by the way.
So we're homies, right?
Homies, yeah.
So it has to be.
You can see the brilliance. But for me, what I want to get into the conversation firstly is, why did you study law? Or why did you choose to study law?
So at first I didn't want to do law, right? I in fact wanted to do architecture. I was really good at drawing, and the creative side of me was just taking over. But because of financial constraints, straight from high school, I couldn't go across the border. I didn't want to go to Lord Tony Polytechnic, and at the time, you know, there was this whole thing about Limkonkwing, about it not being legitimate, whatnot. So I was kind of stuck. So I decided to take a gap year. To work, get some money going, and also to find out exactly what I want to do. So I realized that I wanted to do so many things. I wanted to do architecture. I wanted to do, at some point I wanted to do medicine. At some point I wanted to do engineering, all those things. But I realized that as I was doing business, transacting with people, negotiating, I realized the important role that law actually plays in almost every field. So for me, law wasn't a first choice thing. It was if I do law, I can get into medicine, I can get into construction, I can get into all of these. So it's like a key to these many other career choices that people might have. So I decided to do law, and boom, here I am.
Right. So you said something very, very interesting. You took a gap year.
Yeah.
Which a lot of young people don't necessarily do. Which, firstly, for the finances, but also to find out exactly what it is that you want to do.
Yes, my parents weren't happy with the decision.
I was about to ask.
They were not happy with it. My father specifically closed his phone. He dropped the phone on me. I was like, hey, timer, listen, I'm thinking of taking a gap year because... And then, just like that. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. And my mother was so furious with me at some point that I decided to move out of home. She wasn't really furious, but because of that and other circumstances, I had to move out of home to go find my own apartment, which is an amazing experience. So yeah, they were pretty not happy, but they trusted me. So
and I love the fact that, well, you took that bold decision and you took that bold leap of faith to say that I'm gonna find my own space. One thing that comes to mind, and you went out, took a gap year and started businesses, or you were basically hustling.
I was hustling.
You were hustling.
I wouldn't say I started businesses.
Hustling.
I was hustling.
Great.
With a few friends of mine. Yes.
Okay, a few friends. So for me, what comes to mind, this is Money Adventures anyway, the podcast anyway. So let's talk about the financial aspects of that. What are some of the money mistakes, particularly because you were in...
Debt. debt consumed me. I remember at one point I had a debt excess 6,000. It was of rent, but it didn't end there. It escalated to 12,000. So here's what we do, typical young people. We get excited over the prospects of looking at our businesses and thinking, wow, in a short period of time, if I get this many clients, which I'm sure I will get, then I will be able to afford a particular place, which is what exactly we did. A few friends of mine, we were doing this tutoring program thing. We hired a big building, a duplex, paying 2,000 Rand, 2,000 Rand rent. We thought we could handle it. Plus, some people had promised to sponsor us, so we were really set. The first 2 months, we had money to pay for it. So we had money, we paid. The third month started becoming difficult. Fourth month, fifth month, sixth month, something came in and we were able to sort things out. The clients we thought we would have, we were starting to get desperate. Some pulled out, so things started falling apart. And then now you owe the landlord so much money that you can't just walk out. So he has to have security over you. So I can't walk out. There's money promised, so I have to wait until that period comes. In the meantime, there was a point where I wasn't sleeping at home because I was home. I wasn't sleeping there to actually run away because he had a big car. You'd hear him come through the gate. But that's one of the challenges. The other one was, for me, I think I was an impulsive young person. So, and I think most of us are. Impulsiveness in the sense that when we have some money in our hands, it quickly goes out because we are... In Sesotho would say, we see this enticing things and you want to have that status, So those were some of the challenges, and impulsive spending and the fact that I wasn't used to actually holding money by myself. So I got into a few mistakes, and then we invested in Forex, got eaten up. So it was... So if the question is, how was my money journey then? It was really unmanaged. It was spontaneous. I was unthought of. Money came and went just like that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So here you are, firstly studying law in your final year.
Yes.
And
thank God.
This amazing opportunity for you to do a voice-over gig comes knocking at your door.
Absolutely.
Is this something that you thought about, and how did you go about that?
So some of my talent, part of my talent, I think I've been blessed with the creative side. You remember I said earlier about the creative side. So at school, I was fortunate enough to be a president of Mankabelani Theatre Club. So they would do drama, acting, would be acting out, would do theatre in itself, dances and whatnot. So I really kind of had a knack for that. At some point, I won Best Actor on some awards and whatnot. So for me, I started thinking part of what I could do in life is to act. I always wanted to act in Muvhango. And recently, there's this amazing Blood and Water series in South Africa. I so desperately want to feature in that, even if I could just show up waving.
As an extra.
So I started thinking this could be something, but I never really anticipated voiceovers. I mean, I'd always liked impressing girls with the voice, hey, how you doing? But, so it wasn't so much. So, and then a month ago, we shot this video with a few friends of mine. We have a media business, and in that video they wanted somebody to advertise for them. So I played that character of the advertising. I was Notsi Pole there, and I did it well. So this is how these guys figured out I could do something. So they were like, hey, I know a guy, he could probably do this. So this is the starting bit of my career. If it's a career.
It is going to be a career.
I hope so.
I'm speaking it into existence.
I hope so. So this is the start of something great. So I'm wishing as I go along, it's going to be more fun. And I didn't really think it was going to happen. But look, I'm now on a podcast. I mean, sure, these things.
And for me, again, earlier on, before we started the recording, I was asking you about the rate card. How was when these guys called you to say that, yo, dude, we've got this gig for you. Would you be interested? I'm assuming you said, hell yeah.
I was like, absolutely.
Obviously, you were like, oh, great, so I need to charge an invoice. and I'm very passionate about people invoicing. How did you start in terms of, did you even have a rate card?
All right, so you are actually you're trying to get the idea into my mind. It's attractive. It's an attractive idea about sending people. This is how much I'm worth.
Of course.
This is how much my time is worth. That's exciting. But unfortunately for me, I think like many of us as young people in this country, really don't know how to quantify our worth. So I didn't tell them how much. I asked them, so how much do you normally, how do people charge you normally? So Dade Mutabang said, no, it's 500. That's what he said. I was like, really? He said, yes, but it's only 500 because all you're doing is bringing your voice. We have the equipment. So I assume, and I'm still assuming, there is more to it.
There is a whole lot.
But I honestly speaking, I'm gonna appreciate the 500 for now.
I mean,
it's, I just had to speak. So yeah.
All right. So what does the rest of 2021 look like? I know you were like, online, virtual way of studying or learning in my final year. What does the rest of the year look like? Obviously, priorities should be finishing your qualification.
Absolutely.
But beyond that, and again, the second question that I want to ask is mentorship. I know you were part of a mentorship program.
Yes.
I want to hear your thoughts about that in the last couple of minutes that we have.
Oh yes, but I'm gonna go very quickly. I think because
don't rush. Might just do the challenge. Right. Don't rush.
So the thing with where is this 2021 going? Thankfully, I've already been offered some job somewhere, which is like, thank God for that. So what I thought I would do when I was in my third year, fourth year, is I would immediately jump into practice to be one of the best lawyers Lesotho has ever made. But I realized that to do that, I have to be humble first. Look at and learn the process. Look at it. How does it work? Who are the big shots? Who are doing what? Learn about it. So the next couple of years, 3 years from now, in fact, I'll be doing much learning. So my journey of learning about the litigation process is going to start. So it's also going to be around what else is out there for me. So I'm not going to stick to sensu be dealing with the legal side. I'm also on personal development. I'm also about growing myself, making myself worthwhile, having a good life. But on the mentorship side, it's been a roller coaster for me. Not specifically the mentorship, but personal development. When you get to a point where you're like, I thought this was the right thing, but I'm not so sure anymore. And I'm not talking about mentorship. I'm talking about almost every aspect of my life. I've had to go where I now have to appreciate where exactly I come from and who I am, instead of this well-spoken young man you hear on the radio, wherever you're listening from. The podcast, exactly. So for me, it's connecting. The mentorship program is helping me connect with who I am, that I don't have to impress anyone, but express the who I am and the value that I have to offer elsewhere. So a journey for me, it's just beginning. This is the beginning of a journey. I think it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be quite something I've never seen before. So yeah, that's...
And then in the last minute, closing remarks, for any young student, hopefully listening to this podcast, what's your message to them? Message of hope, message of encouragement, whatever comes to your mind. What do you say to a young person who's listening to this podcast?
I'm saying understand. Now the word understand is very unique in its nature. Understand where you are, what situation your country is. And once you understand it, understand what you can do to, if you want to change it. Some people are complacent with how things are, sharp. Right? Some people want to change that situation, but you can't change what you don't understand. So if it's your academics, if you want to be hopeful, you need to understand exactly what that is, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to understand where I am, where I come from, and what value I can offer to the world. So for you as a young person, for me as a young person, this is also speaking to me. I need to understand where we are and what it takes for me to move myself from here, or people around us, the entire continent, from here to where we think it ought to be. That's just it. And I can't really say I'm wise, you understand? So this is just you sort of have to take it like it is,
All right.
Yes. Yes.
No, thank you so much for an amazing conversation. The message is you need to understand. This episode was proudly sponsored by the U.S. Embassy Maseru, the Young African Leaders Initiative, YALI, and TKay Consultancy. As part of the Descender to Maholo, this is Thapelo, thought leader in his own right, young, passionate, determined to make a difference, but most importantly, to understand. Remember to comment and drop us all the details in the description box below and tell us what you loved about this conversation. And I'm looking forward to many other conversations. And of course, my dream is to see Thapelo being a voiceover artist across the African continent.
Yes.
So plug him, let's connect him with the rest of the world, because this is talent, born and bred in Lesotho, but more specifically from the kingdom of Mafeteng.
Yes. Thank you very much for having me.
Cheers, guys.
You've been listening to Money Adventures with TKay. We want to hear from you. Don't be shy to like, comment, and share. Money's an adventure. Let's enjoy the ride.